Give us the bag, or the kid gets hurt worse. The voice cuts through the grocery store parking lot as 25-year-old Sarah Bennett loads her groceries into her car, watching 3 masked men corner a terrified mother and her 6-year-old daughter near the ATM. Everyone else is running away or hiding behind their cars, pulling out phones but doing nothing. Sarah closes her trunk slowly, her off-duty service weapon tucked in her waistband, and she knows these men have no idea they just picked the wrong parking lot, because Sarah spent the last 3 years as a Marine Corps military police officer in some of the most dangerous places on Earth. Before we see what happens next, hit that subscribe button if you want more stories of everyday heroes who stepped up when it mattered most, and drop a comment telling us what you would do in this situation. Sarah had been home for exactly 2 months. After 3 tours overseas and countless situations where things went from calm to chaos in seconds, she thought coming back to her hometown in Ohio would be quiet, peaceful, normal. She was wrong. The day started ordinary enough. Sarah woke up, late around 10 in the morning, because she still wasn't used to sleeping through the night without waking up to check her surroundings. Old habits. She threw on jeans and a hoodie, grabbed her keys and headed to the grocery store to pick up food for the week. The store was busy for a Tuesday afternoon. Families doing their shopping, elderly folks taking their time in the aisles, workers on lunch breaks grabbing quick meals. Sarah moved through the aisles efficiently, the way she did everything now. Get in, get what you need, get out. No wasted time. She finished shopping around noon and pushed her cart out to the parking lot. The sun was bright and there was a decent crowd of people loading their cars. Sarah parked near the back because she hated tight spaces and door dings. She started loading her bags into the trunk, not paying much attention to anything else. That's when she heard the scream. It came from across the parking lot, near the front entrance where the ATM machines were located. Sarah's head snapped up instantly, her body already tensing before her brain fully processed what was happening. A woman was on the ground. A little girl, maybe 6 or 7 years old, was crying and trying to pull her mother up. And 3 men in dark hoodies and masks were surrounding them. Sarah's training kicked in immediately. She scanned the scene in seconds. 3 suspects, all male, average build. One had his hand in his jacket pocket like he was holding something. Could be a weapon. The woman on the ground was clutching a purse. The little girl was in the danger zone, too close to the suspects. Other people in the parking lot had noticed too. But they were doing what most people do in situations like this. Freezing, backing away, pulling out their phones to record or call 911. Nobody was moving toward the situation. Sarah reached under her hoodie and felt the reassuring weight of her Glock 19. She carried it everywhere now, even off duty. Some habits from the Marines stuck with you whether you liked it or not. She closed her trunk quietly and started walking toward the scene, not running. Running would draw attention and escalate things. She moved quickly but deliberately, keeping her hands visible, her eyes locked on the 3 men. As she got closer, she could hear them talking. The one doing most of the talking was tall and lanky, probably in his early 20s. His voice was shaky, which told Sarah he was nervous. Nervous people did stupid things. I said, "Give us the bag," he shouted at the woman on the ground. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be." The woman was crying, holding her purse close. "I don't have anything valuable. Please just leave us alone." The little girl was sobbing now, clutching her mother's arm. One of the other men, shorter and stockier, stepped closer to the child. "Maybe we take the kid instead," he said, reaching down toward her. "That'll make you cooperate real quick." That's when Sarah spoke up. "Hey." Her voice was calm but carried across the parking lot. All 3 men turned to look at her. Sarah stopped about 15 feet away, her hands still at her sides. She kept her posture relaxed but ready. The woman on the ground looked at her with desperate, hopeful eyes. The little girl was still crying. The tall one, the leader, pointed at Sarah. "Lady, you need to mind your business and walk away. This doesn't concern you." Sarah didn't move. "Actually, it does. You need to step away from them and leave. Right now." The 3 men looked at each other. Then the tall one laughed. It was a nervous, aggressive laugh. "Oh, we got a hero here," he said to his buddies. "Some random lady thinks she's going to save the day." He took a step towards Sarah. "You got about 5 seconds to turn around and walk away before you become a problem." Sarah's expression didn't change. I'm not walking away. And you're not taking anything from these people. So you have two choices. Leave now or deal with me. Your call. The stocky one pulled his hand out of his pocket. He was holding a knife, a cheap folding blade that he flicked open to try to look threatening. You think we're scared of you? He said, waving the knife around. There's 3 of us and 1 of you. Do the math. Sarah had done the math. She had been doing the math since the moment she saw them. 3 suspects, 1 with a knife, 2 unknowns. Civilian casualties in the immediate area. No backup for at least 5 to 10 minutes depending on police response time. High-stress situation with suspects already agitated. She had been in worse situations. Way worse. I'm going to tell you one more time, Sarah said, her voice steady. Drop the knife. Step away from them. Leave. The tall one took another step toward her. And if we don't? Sarah reached under her hoodie and drew her weapon in one smooth motion. She held it in a low, ready position, pointed at the ground but clearly visible. Then this becomes a very different situation, she said quietly. The parking lot went silent. The 3 men froze. The tall one's eyes went wide. The one with the knife took a step back. The third one, who hadn't said anything yet, started backing toward a beat-up sedan parked nearby. Whoa, 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 the tall one said, holding his hands up. You a cop? Marine Corps Military Police, Sarah said. And I'm telling you for the last time, drop the knife and leave. The stocky one looked at the knife in his hand, like he had just realized he was holding it. He dropped it on the pavement with a clatter. We're leaving, the tall one said, backing away quickly. The 3 of them scrambled toward their car, nearly tripping over each other. Sarah kept her weapon trained on them until they were in the sedan and peeling out of the parking lot. She caught the license plate number automatically, committing it to memory. Only when they were gone did she holster her weapon and turn to the woman and little girl on the ground. You okay? Sarah asked, kneeling down next to them. The woman was shaking but nodded. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you so much. I thought they were going to hurt my daughter. The little girl was still crying, clinging to her mother. Sarah reached out slowly and gently touched the child's shoulder. Hey, it's okay now. They're gone. You're safe. The little girl looked up at Sarah with tear-filled eyes. Are you a police officer? Sarah smiled softly. Something like that. I used to be in the Marines. We protect people too. By now, other people in the parking lot had started to come closer. A store manager came running out asking what happened. Someone said they had already called 911. Sarah stayed with the woman and her daughter until the police arrived about 8 minutes later. She gave her statement to the responding officers, provided the license plate number she had memorized, and explained that she was former military police and had been carrying her weapon legally. The officers knew Sarah. She had grown up in this town and a few of them remembered her from high school. One of them, a sergeant named Mike Holloway, shook his head in amazement. Sarah Bennett, he said. I heard you joined the Marines, but I didn't know you were doing this kind of thing. Sarah shrugged. Just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Right place, right time, and the right training, Mike said. You probably saved that woman and her kid from getting seriously hurt. We'll get the footage from the store cameras and track down those guys. The woman, whose name was Jennifer, insisted on getting Sarah's contact information so she could thank her properly later. The little girl, named Emma, had stopped crying and was now looking at Sarah like she was some kind of superhero. Before Sarah left, Emma tugged on her mother's sleeve and whispered something. Jennifer smiled and nodded. Emma wants to know if you're a real hero, Jennifer said. Sarah knelt down to Emma's level. Heroes are just regular people who do the right thing when it's scary, she said. You were really brave today, too. You stayed with your mum and didn't run away. That takes courage. Emma smiled for the first time since the whole thing started. Sarah finished giving her statement and finally made it back to her car. Her groceries had been sitting in the trunk the whole time. Some of the ice cream had probably melted. She sat in the driver's seat for a moment, letting the adrenaline drain out of her system. Her hands were steady. Her breathing was normal. 3 years of training and experience meant she didn't fall apart after high-stress situations anymore. But she still felt the weight of what could have gone wrong. If she hadn't been there, if she hadn't been carrying, if those men had been more desperate or more violent. If that little girl had been hurt, she pushed those thoughts away. It didn't matter. She had been there. She had acted, and everyone was safe. The story hit the local news that evening. Someone in the parking lot had recorded part of the confrontation on their phone, and the footage went viral within hours. The headline read, "Former Marine stops armed robbery, saves mother and child." Sarah's phone started blowing up with messages from old friends, family members, and even people she didn't know. The local news station wanted an interview. The mayor's office called to thank her. Sarah ignored most of it. She didn't do what she did for recognition or praise. She did it because it was the right thing to do, and because she had the training to do it safely. But Jennifer reached out a few days later and asked if Sarah would meet her and Emma for coffee. Sarah agreed. They met at a small cafe downtown. Emma brought a drawing she had made, a stick figure with a cape holding a shield, labeled Sarah the hero in crayon. Sarah kept that drawing on her fridge for years. The three men who tried to rob Jennifer were arrested 2 days later using the license plate information Sarah provided and the store's security footage. They were charged with attempted robbery, assault, and child endangerment. All three took plea deals and went to prison. Sarah went back to her quiet life. She eventually took a job with the local police department, where her Marine Corps experience made her a valuable asset. She worked patrol for a while, then moved to training new officers on de-escalation and threat assessment. She never talked much about what happened that day in the parking lot. When people asked her about it, she would just say she was in the right place at the right time. But everyone who knew Sarah understood the truth. She wasn't just in the right place, she was the right person. Someone who had spent years training for moments exactly like that. Someone who didn't freeze when others did. Someone who stepped forward when everyone else stepped back. Emma grew up remembering that day. Years later, when she was in high school, she wrote an essay about it for her college applications. She wrote about the woman who taught her that heroes don't wear capes or have superpowers. They just show up when people need them most. And Sarah, who never wanted to be called a hero, became one anyway.